Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Animation Fascination. I'm Marc Vibbert, and joining us again today is Mr. Ted Sowards. Thank you, Ted, for joining us. Stanford
Anytime.
is going to join us momentarily. He got stuck in a gravitational pull, so he will be here as soon as he is able to get to his capsule. So if you're watching this and or listening to this, you may already know what we're going to talk about. We're talking about the newest Pixar film that I keep mispronouncing. If it's Elio or Elio, I'm just, the phonics of
I
it
think
would
it's
make,
Elio.
yeah, I was going to say the phonics of it would make you assume that it's Elio, so that's what I'm going to go with too. Uh, but yeah, so this is, I don't even know like which film this would be now, like further releases. Do you know
For
off the
yours or for it's
no
like your
for
60 second or
oh for them for Pixar for
oh
like how many movies have they released since in the past 39 years, almost 40 years?
you googling it too? I'm doing it real fast.
And I only readily know how many years uh, old Pixar is because they're a year or they're a week younger than me. So,
Wow.
how many films have Pixar released?
Yeah,
29
Wikipedia
feature
doesn't number
films.
them. This is 29.
Yeah, so this is Elio's the 29th film from Pixar. So, again, so if anyone hasn't listened to Animation Fascination before, though, in the past, this is a podcast where we celebrate the magic of animation one frame at a time. Um, so today, like I said, we're going to be talking about Pixar's kind of dealt with space and the cosmos before slightly, like whether it's like in their shorts, um, most notably like Lifted. Do you remember Lifted? That short?
The abduction one.
Yeah. And then there's like a Mater like UFO short that they did as well. But outside of that, it's hard
Wally.
to. Oh yeah, I mean yeah, Wally. I
Yeah.
guess like ones that have aliens in them,
Uh
which I guess would only be Lifted, and then the Mater. Yeah, but yeah, like Wally. Um, with that, yeah, I think that's the only one is like Wally and Elio. Uh, but yeah, what are your like kind of your overall thoughts of Elio before we kind of get into more like discussion of the film?
I went in not sure what I was expecting, but I liked it. And I feel kind of bad because like I feel like the online community is just more hanging on to its box office numbers, and I'm kind of like, well, talk about the story of the movie.
Yeah,
I'm story is king. That's number one for me. And yeah, I got done and I was like, okay, that felt good. It felt right. I enjoyed it.
it's true. Yeah, I mean, I remember wanted to write off Elemental right away when that came out because it opened to like a similar box office for that one that came out too, and then it had legs because it had good word of mouth, which I think is going to be the same thing that happens with Elio too. I haven't heard anybody talk bad about Elio at all. Everyone that I've seen or heard talk about it has enjoyed the movie. I went and saw it with my friend Alice when they were up here visiting recently, and we both enjoyed it a lot. I've cried. They also cried at a certain point during the movie as well too. So it's definitely got the emotional beats that like you expect from like a Pixar film. And then if people don't know what the story of Elio is, Elio takes Pixar and kind of to a new emotional and visual territory. It tells the story of a 11-year-old boy who accidentally becomes Earth's intergalactic ambassador. Uh, And like you said, the film may have not shattered like box office records, but like you said, like story is king. So it's like it's rich with like character depth. The visuals are like amazing in this. Like I even used like one of the like these backgrounds for it that just like kind of shows off a bit like all of what the film was able to talk about, and has some poignant themes in it. You know, like as Pixar films usually do uh, with it. And so, like one of the things about the movie too is like one of the things I enjoyed uh, quite a bit is the way. Actually, hold on. The someone just got dropped off by the aliens from their recent alien abduction. So gonna be adding Stanford into the show. Hello, Stanford.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you, man?
Well, I'm good. I'm so sorry to be late. I just got out of F1,
Nice.
and
Oh,
it went on and on and on. I really thought I was gonna be done, so I'm so sorry, guys.
Damn you, Brad.
And I'm just in my car too, so I hope you can hear me okay.
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Nice to see you both.
I see you or hear you too.
Yeah, see my yeah.
Your sound wave. But yes, so Ted and I were just kind of giving like our general thoughts about the movie. So
Cool.
What was your overall kind of takeaway and thoughts of Elio?
I absolutely loved it. I've seen it twice now. I thought it was just like all the stuff I love about Pixar. Original storytelling, knockout animation, and a pretty sweet story. It was just, for lack of a better word, I just thought it was really heartwarming. And sure, maybe some of it was a little predictable or possibly even a little trite, but I just loved it. I just absolutely loved it. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, also if they have seen it and you didn't stay until the end of 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 the credits, then you may have missed the teaser trailer that they had attached to the end of it for Hoppers.
Which I thought was so cool.
Yeah,
I stayed to the Disney logo.
It's after
and that was it. I was like, oh, there's nothing, and I walked out.
It's
there was something afterwards.
Yeah.
No.
It's the definition of a teaser, because the teaser trailer is a lizard texting a lizard emoji over and over again that's saying lizard, 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 lizard.
Huh.
Unless it's Hoppers 2026.
And it's,
March 2026, right, or whatever, yeah.
And it's a true trailer. Trailers used to be after the movie. That's why they're called
the name.
Trailers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was and definitely, teaser, because it doesn't show much. Now, so the screen, both screenings I saw, wasn't it supposed to have some bloopers? Did you see bloopers?
That's what I thought too. I saw online that they had bloopers, but
yeah,
mine
I did
didn't
too.
have any.
Okay, I was just wondering if sometimes our local movie theaters don't always deliver, but I don't know. I didn't know. Did you see bloopers, Mark?
I did not.
Okay.
I kind of miss that old kind of
I did
we
too.
got with Pixar films, but I guess we kind of traded that for the short films before Pixar.
Yeah.
Films. But now we don't get either.
We don't get either one.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a bummer. And yeah, that's. I mean, because obviously, like the bloopers that they did are all essentially themselves a short film, because they have to. They're creating the bloopers. Mm-hmm. So, but I always thought they were always fun. But it is kind of a bummer that there wasn't any for this. But yeah, so we can kind of get into the story breakdown here. So at its heart, Elio is a story about feeling out of place. So like on Earth, with your family, or even like within like your own within like your own skin. So like after losing his parents, Elio lives with his aunt Olga an Air Force major who sacrificed her dream of becoming an astronaut to care for him. And then Elio becomes fascinated with space, almost obsessively so, lying on the beach each night, hoping to be abducted by aliens. When a prank with a ham radio goes wrong, Elio ends up accidentally contacting aliens and is taken aboard a ship to the Communiverse. And what's kind of I like how the movie's set up too is that they kind of do this thing in the opening, like with a slightly younger Elio, like just shortly after his parents must have passed away, where he and his aunt are at a museum or like at like the restaurant that's like near like I can't remember exactly were they like
It
on
was
the
some
base?
air and space museum.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, like a science museum kind of thing. And I wondered if it was related to her work. If it was something like near the base
Yeah,
or
because there were a lot
that
of people in uniform
they
there.
were in uniform. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then it was like an exhibit that was like under construction that wasn't fully finished yet. But like it was finished enough where Elio got his like own kind of little private version of like what the display would be. He got a little bit of Carl Sagan voiceover there as well, and like kind of like a little bit of a backstory for the Voyager, which then becomes relevant later in the movie too, because the Communiverse think that he is the one that built the Voyager spacecraft, which is kind of funny in there as well.
Is.
And I also liked the choice of using the Talking Heads song at the opening of the once it.
Oh, I did
picks up
too,
to
Mark. I thought that
the
was
modern day.
so great.
Yeah, like especially paired with like the editing that they did for that scene with like the kind of time lapse. I really enjoyed that. What did you guys think of kind of like the setup and stuff there for like the opening?
I love the visual storytelling that was happening in that scene as well, where he's looking up at the Voyager. I was about to call it V'ger. That's my Star Trekness coming out in me.
Star Trek.
And he's Stanford's doing it too, but he can't.
I
am. But where he sees Voyager and his aunt steps in between. There's some visual storytelling going on there of who's who's preventing him from reaching that goal is his aunt, kind of thing. Yeah.
And now I also when I was watching, I thought that she was part of Space Force because of like speaking of Star Trek, because like how close the Space Force logo looks to the Starfleet logo.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure like in the credits they Pixar even thanks like the U.S. Military for like their basically for like I don't know like their advisement or like help within like allowing them to use certain things in the movie and whatnot. And I think I saw Space Force listed there, which I guess that would make sense at least for the story of this movie. Space Force still seems so silly as a thing though. But
yeah,
I mean they did make a whole 2-season comedy about it on Netflix, so there's that.
That golden record thing.
Yeah.
See, I remember seeing news stories, and this was again years ago. I can't remember the year, and sorry I didn't look it up. But if that's not real, it's based in a reality thing that there like something was sending messages out in space, and it had all these recordings of different people, including children. Just like we come in peace kind of thing. But so I thought that was cool because again, in a way, it was for me. It kind of grounded it, in a positive way. That it helped the storytelling for me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like the audio is like the actual audio from it.
Okay, cool.
It's not public domain. What's it when the government makes something and it's like it's everybody's? There's a word for that.
Yeah.
Not sure.
But
that word, I'm not sure either, Ted, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know
Communal.
yeah, like
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Communiverse.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, it's like so between that, so like Elio gets thrown into like the interstellar politics of the and by becoming Earth's ambassador, he befriends an alien outcast named Glordon, and eventually helps prevent a war with the warmongering Lord Grigan, uh, all while navigating his own grief and identity. And then by like the end of the movie, Elio chooses Earth and his connection over escapism, returning home with a clearer sense of like who he is. So, like, how did you guys like how Elio kind of like weaved, like Elio the movie? How did you like how that weaved the kind of coming of age arc in like the cosmic setting for Elio the character?
Yeah, who's first, Ted? You want to go
I
first?
know.
Go for it.
I'm like formulating my thoughts. I'm like, Stanford will talk first.
No, I'm happy to go. You know,
Okay, go for it. Yeah.
I liked Elio's character arc. I thought that, you know, because a lot of it was based on pretend, you know, what his persona that he had, you know, that he was leader of Earth or Earth, whatever, you know, whatever he says. Yeah, at the beginning. Yeah, Earth. That was, you know, kind of important or like empowering for him to kind of be in this truly living out of a fantasy, you know, a really cool one.
Yeah.
But that he ultimately, just as you were saying, Mark, you know, he chooses to, he really chooses, I think, a more difficult path for himself. That he's that, and he realizes that, you know, Earth is his home, and that his aunt loves him. You know, and that's going to be, you know, that's going to be his family. And anyway, I just repeating what you said, Mark. I found it very satisfying. Let's just put it that way. I liked it a lot. I thought it was pretty moving. You know what Elio has to go. I think one of the things that really busts me up about this thing too is, you know, Elio thinks that, you know, he's not sure if his, you know, feelings of not being accepted. Yeah, he thought he was blaming it like on the bullies or the jerks on Earth, but then he was wondering, you know, maybe it's me. You know, he's like, here he is in outer space, you know, and he's just like, well, you know, maybe it's me. You know, oh, it kind of rips your heart out, but I think he figures out that it's not, you know, that he's loved, and yeah, and not alone. I think that was the other thing that really got me when they, you know, all of his friends there in outer space were, you know, telling me, you know, he's not alone. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Enough of my rambling. Back to you, Ted.
I think I did like the arc with the aunt and his relationship probably the most. That was when it was most satisfying and stuff, and watching her change and watching them come back together. And I don't know if that's a spoiler or anything, but
I mean, I just said the ending, so I mean,
and I liked
spoilers.
I liked that the ending was that he stayed on Earth. You know, that it wasn't like, okay, you stay with the aliens and I'm going to head back to Earth. We're going to do our own things. Like, it was like, okay, super satisfying. They now find that they need each other and they're going to stick together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and then obviously, like, because they're still communicating with them, like, I'm assuming the Communiverse can come back whenever they want to, so it's not like,
well, exactly. I love that they're using ham radio too.
Yeah.
do you guys know any ham radio people? I do.
Oh.
I know too. It was like my next door neighbor growing up was a major ham radio person, and he, you know, he had like this 20-foot tower that he was building in his backyard, and just like hardcore. And then that was when I was a child, and I had since met it was a friend. In fact, it was one of my friends that I knew from Tabernacle Choir, my Tabernacle Choir days, that all he talked about was ham radio. You know? So it was just his passion, and so it was fun to see. Clearly, I think the filmmakers must have met some of these other people. You know, not to stereotype the guys that I know, but you know, that are they're so into it. And I mean, I like the little kids, particularly the one kid who turned out to be nice, not the bully.
Oh yeah,
But
it kind
but
of like the flip
the
that on its head of like what you thought was going to be the situation with that kid.
yeah. But the crazy guy, the employee that they told to take a vacation.
Oh yeah.
You know, I thought he reminded me kind of this ham radio talk. You know, these guys that
Oh
I
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah.
Because I
Well,
personally, I mean, I have nothing against it, but I'm not into it at all. You know, I'm not into it at all.
but yeah, I liked how Elio and the kid like kind of joined that club of like the ham
Yeah, me
radio
too.
club
Me too. Yeah.
by the end there in that like mid credit scene that we had.
And the Elio's got another friend. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a Earth friend and he's got a Communiverse friend.
And Glorden.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll meet.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
That's right.
I mean, they're like voice communicating with each other there, and I did like that we got Brad Garrett in another Pixar movie too.
Isn't he great?
Yeah, he was great. It's kind of like the like antagonist slash villain slash kind of he's mostly just an antagonist because I want to call him outright villain. Like he does some stuff, but then, like he's also like a parent, and then like when he sees like what's actually like going on with his kid, then he's like, oh, all right. So yeah, but I don't know. Like with the movie too. Like speaking of the characters, so one of the things I like too about like what Pixar usually does with like character names is how they usually have two meanings. So like just the fact that Elio Solis is he like Helios means so it's like pretty close to that, and like I'm pretty sure like Solis is also like
the sun, like SOL is the sun.
Yeah. So like
Sol.
basically, yeah. So like more or less, like his name means like Elio in Spanish means sun. So like his name is literally sun.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Which, like, quick aside with that too, that's kind of like the same thing as like Remus Lupin in the Potter movies. Is that his name is literally Wolf, just like translated from two other kind of variations of like how you would say wolf to somebody.
Interesting.
Yeah, I always like that kind of, there's like a reason why the character's named what they're named, except if you're named Glordon. But like,
right.
Elio is artistic. He's lonely, and he's quietly resilient. He has an eye patch after a fight earlier in the film where the like his makeshift kind of ham radio like smacks him like right in the eye, and it like swells up. So it's kind of also like a visual symbol of how the world kind of sees him, like, and how he sees himself. And then his journey is emotional, and also intergalactic. And then he doesn't need to like become brave or anything like in a traditional sense, because he already kind of is. He just has to kind of like recognize like what he's already capable of, like later in the film, and like use like his strengths in like how he figures out like solutions to like different situations like later in the film. So like that I wanted to talk about a bit about like there's the like the booger or like the snot clones, or I guess
Mm-hmm.
like the DNA clones, but like for both of them, it's basically take a booger and make a clone out of it, and then they kind of melt into like a gooey, snotty type of looking thing as they dissipate. What did you think about like the clone Elio in the movie?
I thought the clone was pretty funny. With the eye patch thing, I heard that in an original, of the original version of it long ago with the original director, that the clone had he was the B plot, and
Okay.
so but the clone didn't have an eye patch, and so that was your way of like telling who was who. Like the one on the spaceship had the eye patch, the one back on Earth didn't have an eye patch,
Hmm.
and so their stories paralleled a lot more. At least that's what I have been told. So, but even like with the eye patch thing, I love the visual storytelling there about how he, when you only have one eye, you don't have depth perception. You're of this mono vision of the world, and it's finally when like he sees his aunt's side of things that she takes it off, and he now has a better perception of the
He
earth,
sees the full
of life.
picture. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, I'm going with that too. Like with the clone too, the clone literally doesn't have that other eye under the
Yeah, I
like,
love that. I love
That was the
that.
funny part.
Yeah.
He would have
the mono.
reacted earlier as she's like creeping up to him. He would have been like, "Hi," but for the funny line of "We should talk," like,
Yeah.
I also liked his like whole kind of send off thing like later in the film too.
yeah,
It kind of goes into like a horror movie.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
Yeah. And then,
yeah. My date
the
had
night,
left the movie theater at that time and came back, and I was like, "You missed."
You
one of
missed the
funniest
best,
scenes
yeah,
ever. Like,
one of the best scenes.
there's
Well,
like a
and
little Terminator reference there too.
a great Terminator, and I also really felt E.T. in a lot of ways. You know,
Oh
it
yeah,
kind of
like with
felt,
like the suits and stuff like that.
yeah,
mhm.
and you know, and the alien who's really sick, and yeah.
In fact,
true.
I thought the name when I hadn't done research yet, I thought that they got the name. I have it right here, Elio from ET, a reference kind of thing. I thought it was like Elliot.
Elliot.
That's then I did research and I was like, oh, they're more referencing Helios, the bringer of the sun in Greek mythology, etc. Is it Greek? One of them. Oh, one ancient mythology. So I was like, oh, that's Elliot.
That's what they're okay. I do like the ET. You know, just
Yeah.
drop the T.
Drop the T.
Right.
He he's now the terrestrial in their world. I don't
Yes.
know.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. He's not extra. He's just the terrestrial.
He's just
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we have Zoe Saldana as Olga, his aunt, and then she's a good standout example of like a Pixar giving like a nuanced kind of adult character. So she's like stern, loving, but she's also like flawed because she's trying to figure out how to be a parent to her nephew that she hadn't like planned on necessarily being a parent. It kind of like sidetracks like her whole like life plan that she had for wanting to be an astronaut and whatnot. But you can feel like the tension between like her duty of like what she wants to do as her job, but also like her duty and like personal dreams as far as like they relate to Elio too. So what did you guys think of Zoe Saldana as Olga in this too?
I went first last time, but I am quick. I thought she was
You're
good.
good, Ted.
I thought she brought a lot of heart to the character, and it's kind of real. Yeah, that's all. Stanford's turn.
I mean,
Well, I want to hear more, Ted. If you got
No, that's really it. Like I thought she did a great job. Brought real emotion to the character.
Yeah,
I thought she gave a very excellent vocal performance. I liked her performance a lot.
Yeah. I mean, she's got a lot of experience with in space as different characters she played.
Speaking of Star Trek, and
Blue Avatar,
or Guardians of the Galaxy,
Guardians. Oh wow, we could keep going, or can we keep going?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. But those are she's got a pretty good resume. Yeah.
Uhura, Anavi, and a Guardian of the Galaxy. But I mean, that's pretty good. Now she can add Space Force Pixar animated character as well.
Mark, I like how you've brought up that though about the nuanced adult, because again, I think that's one of the things that Pixar does really well too, or can do really well. And I thought, the way her character was written was terrific.
Yeah, I agree, and like that's the same way they kind of write their like younger characters in the films too. It's like they're not talking down to kids, and they're not like playing a kid as Kitty in a movie. Like the kids are believable, or the younger characters are believable as what age they are. You don't feel like it's like someone like one of our ages like writing a 8-year-old kid like as a character. It's like it feels like an authentic, kid of that age when you're watching the movies. It doesn't because it's very easy to do that. And that's usually with like some like lesser films will usually default to that for like a kid character, where they'll usually be obnoxious or like loud and doing different things. It's like this is how kids act, right? Yeah. So I always like how like nuanced both the adult and younger characters are in Pixar movies because of like how they write their characters.
I mean, Lisa Simpson has been an adult since day one.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And speaking of Glorodon, like we brought up a little earlier, we got Glorodon, who's a gooey, eyeless alien larva who kind of looks like a caterpillar, basically, who is super funny. His bond with Elio is kind of like the emotional backbone of the film, because like Elio finally makes a friend. And for Glorodon, that's kind of like his first friend too. So it's like these two outsider kids trying to be understood by different people, and so they're able to like. Speaking of another Zoe Saldana movie where she's an alien, that they see each other, like the I see you.
I see you.
Yeah. So like his design is inspired by tardigrades, greats, and insects, which walks. It's kind of like it's walking kind of like that balance beam of him being creepy in certain lighting, but cuddly in other lighting, and then very sad in when you fade all the color from him, like later on too. So. What did you think of like the design of like Glorodon and his dad, like both in and out of like their exoskeleton suits that they had?
Should I go first, Ted, or you want to go, buddy?
I was gonna say beautiful people go first.
That's you, man, not me.
No, not me. Go first.
I thought that Glorodon was an absolute. I love the character design because they gave him those little funky. I don't know what you call them. That could be any. I mean, they weren't eyes, but they could be his eyes. The way that they animated them. But also I love like when he cried, it was just like drool, kind of this nonstop drool coming out of his mouth.
That was weird.
And so he was totally kind of bizarre, this bizarre space creature that I just found absolutely adorable. And again, a great vocal performance from that child actor. But I just thought incredibly cute. And when again, we're spoiling it, right? But when Brad Garrett's character breaks out of his war machine and swaddles his kid to save Glorodon, I was just interested to say, okay, that's how they interpreted how the adult version, right, of the giant larva or whatever It is, but I like the character design, but I also liked how they integrated it into, I'm calling it the War Machine, but into the big armor thing.
Yeah. So
How
it's kind of like an
the
Iron
helmet the
Maiden.
helmet the helmet was the eyes, and
But they don't need eyes. Like the
yeah,
eyes are just there for other aliens'
right,
benefits.
right. You could just tell they were like little video screens or little monitors, something. Super. Anyway, I thought it was very clever, uh, and I liked it.
Yeah. What's kind of so really quick with that too is Ted had brought it up. The original director was Adrian Molina, who was the one that conceived the story about childhood and social isolation. He was inspired by growing up at a military base and his eventual enrollment at CalArts. So it's the film is like a very personal film to the original director that like conceived like the story and whatnot of the movie. But he later left the project to go work on Coco 2. So that was so because this film was announced in September 2022, and then Coco 2 was announced in August of last year, which was August 2024. So then at that point, we got Domi Shi and Madeline Sharafian, who would replace him as the lead directors. And then one of the things I thought was cool too is that the film used like a virtual anamorphic lens, and then Pixar used this new Luna lighting tool set, which you can see uh, really well in this, just like how uh, just like beautiful it looks. And thank you to Ralph from Lanterns Live who stopped in to say hello with the appropriate account for an alien uh, group of a group of aliens that help to guard the universe. Makes sense for a Green Lantern podcast show to comment on us. That's all I'll say, Ralph. You'll I think you'll enjoy Elio though.
And say go see the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, go see the movie. Ted, what did you think of the design of Gordon and of his dad?
Well, definitely the design. I thought was definitely there to be different. All the aliens did have like a different design. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought the character was pretty relatable, though. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I was a disappointment to my father, so like he pictured that we'd go like hunting, like out together and everything, and I didn't want to do that. Like, there were several things that, as a parents think that their kids are going to grow up one way, and they go off their own way.
Yeah.
So it was relatable.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I liked that Brad Garrett as Gregan, you kind of like assume certain things about him because of that, but then you can see like he actually is paying attention to his kid and like knows how his kid acts because he's like able to like know right away that the Glorden clone is not his kid.
Yeah.
Because the clone's like, yeah, I want to pillage and do all this stuff. He's like, yeah, that's not Glorden.
That's not him. Yeah.
So
I thought that was interesting that the clones didn't really. They looked like them, but they didn't have really the same personalities, right? Which it was like, but the personality that they had was the one that was like to please the parent, right, or to please the adult, to please the adult in their lives, rather than being them to their true selves. Which I thought I liked that. I thought that was interesting.
There's also interesting ethical things about the clones in this too, and like because it also like rides like a fine line of, I guess like there's sentience like within this too, because like they're okay with essentially just being
going back to nothing.
Yeah, like being used. Like they have a consciousness, but
what are the blue guys from Rick and Morty?
Oh, Meeseeks.
Yeah.
Their purpose is to do a task and
then disappear.
And then be done.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're basically a snotty version of Mr. Meeseeks.
I love that snot, Mark. I thought it was more like this kind of slime or whatever that. What's that stuff from Nickelodeon?
Gack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get like you dump on people.
Gack. I remember Gack. And then so kind of going from there, like the themes and symbolism of the movie, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but like the loneliness and belonging, like obviously like Elio and Glordon. And then the identity and authenticity again, like the clone subplot brings that home to you, like you were saying, or like what we were kind of just saying is like the identity and authenticity of like who the characters are, whether it's Glordon or Elio, and their respective like guardians being able to tell that their kids or or adopted children aren't them in a way. Like with Olga, like I'm pretty sure she catches on pretty early on too, but then she's also trying to like figure out like what to do about that, and trying to like figure it all out. And the scene with like the hair making its way back to the rest of the
Oh, that was great.
Was funny.
Or even cutting off the finger, and he's like,
oh yeah, he just puts it back. Yeah, that was good.
Also, like, how gross was that she would have to she had to like put her tongue like on his head to get like the hair in her mouth like that too.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about. I was like, interesting, because I don't like when I get hair in my mouth at all. So like the fact that she like had to willingly do that is good.
Yeah, ew.
And then we've already kind of talked about this a little bit too, but like family and then found family, like so like between Olga, Glordon, and then like Grigun's arc in the movie, and then about just like the bond that Elio makes with the Communiverse, like aboard the ship too, like even to the point of like the thing that he says earlier on, and I'm using it as my tag, and it's like, okay, love you, bye, like in his message, and then some of the other aliens, like that's how they
think that
like,
yeah,
that's like the
that's when that's when the waterworks started for me too, when they're all like, love you, bye.
At the finale,
because I think they did, even though they were just saying his little tagline that they didn't necessarily understand. I love that.
Yeah, I also liked Jamila Jamil as like kind of like she's kind of like the head of the Communiverse in this, and she's like she has like the mind reading.
I know she's got that cool mind reading.
Yeah, and
tentacles or whatever those things are. Antennae.
And even with her character, where she did the liar reveal moment, and I think the liar reveal moment can be so overdone. And I thought this one kind of just flowed better than others, and
yeah, agreed.
And then like even with that too, like she doesn't get angry at him. She's like, it's like a parent kind of thing too. It's like she's not angry, she's like disappointed. And Elio, and she gives him like the chance to like let him reveal it himself, but he's like, no, don't. And she's like, well, all right, well, I'm gonna tell him then. But yeah, like you said, Ted, like that could have gone one of two ways with the way it was done. But then we also have like the escapism and versus connection with like Elio again. Starts out wanting to escape Earth, but by the end he returns willingly, like we said, and changed, like not really by the aliens, but like the connections like he was able to make during the film, like between Glorden, like with his aunt, and like with like kind of himself, kind of like discovering different things like about himself during the course of the story, which I thought was great. And then just, I mean, it is kind of like the like the normal coming of age thing where like you like you learn things about yourself that you're already capable of, but then you actually realize that you're capable of those things rather than like telling yourself that you're not. So I liked that whole aspect with Elio in this too.
Yeah. You know, when Elio got set, I think the film had a lot of really beautiful. I mean, for lack of a better word, guys, I'm just going to call it like a shot. You know, just the framing of a scene or a moment. When Elio gets uh, sent back to Earth after the he got revealed as what he truly is, um, and how he's just sitting there on the beach at night. I don't know if you remember that particular shot, but it's beautiful. And there were some other
Where he's
ones in that
watching
film.
them.
He's just sitting there. I
Yeah.
mean, and he's really, he's relatively small. With the screen is just focused on kind of the vastness of the ocean and the stars.
Yeah.
But anyway, I
And
just thought, wow,
there
what
was
cool
a shot.
filmmaking.
There was a shot where they were just silhouettes against like the
Yeah.
city lights in the background, or
Yes.
They were
yeah, it was
reminiscent
pretty.
of like a ET shot or a Close Encounters shot, which like going back to the anamorphic lens that they were able to use in this for like the first time. That's that way you were able to get kind of like those kind of nostalgic kind of feeling of a shot like you'd see like in a Close Encounters of the Third Kind, or like you can kind of get that little bit of like a lens flare on it, not to like the J.J. Abrams nth degree with it, but like just enough where it like feels like a natural like camera like within the space of the movie, and then like with that new lighting system of like how the translucent Communiverse like looks with that like with the shots and like the cinematography that they're able to set up within this movie. I thought like the movie itself looked like really beautiful. Just
Same.
environment
Yeah.
wise, like the lighting, like you're saying too, like the Christmas kind of lights that they use like for like the landing pads, or I know there's just like a certain glow to them that looked
Yes.
better. I don't know if that's
It's their new lighting system.
yeah, which it's
impressive.
appropriately named Luna, so keeping with the space vibe, and also another Pixar short.
Yep.
Called With Stars. And then the score for this movie too is Rob Simonson's.
Yeah. Do you know that's his composer? Are either of you familiar with him?
I was gonna look him up. Like in the movie, I was like, I gotta look whoever it is up, but then I never had.
Yeah, ditto.
So, it was his first animated movie for this, but like he's also like a lot of the other films he's done are very different to this. So like like he did the Ben Affleck movie The Way Back. He did the Adam Project, which I think would maybe be the closest.
Okay.
Tonally to this. If
Yeah.
anyone's seen that. But like, and like Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. So like a lot very different to Elio, basically. Like all the other films like he's worked on are, although in the same way that they're different from Elio, some of them are similar as well too, because like he did The Way Back, which is like a coming of age film, just set in a different place. And he tends to work with Zach Braff a lot too, which and or like Sean Levy. So, and also he worked on Love, Simon. So again, like even though like a lot of these films are kind of very different from Elio, there's also kind of like a backbone or a spine there of similarities to like the score that he's composed for those different films that still kind of fits that same kind of narrative like or mindset you'd want to be in for each of those. So like for first animated film, and then each world character has like its own musical identity, and then so it helps like just kind of like emotionally attach or like navigate like the different spots in there and whatnot. And I think I would like to definitely, like if there's a vinyl or something for this, is one of the Pixar scores I'd like to get a vinyl record.
Yeah, I thought that the score was really lovely.
Have you looked to see if there's a vinyl?
I haven't yet. There might be. Let's see. Elio vinyl record. Disney Music Emporium is probably where it would be.
Yeah, sad. Disney Music Emporium was the first thing that came to my mind.
Well, it looks like because Elio is such like a thing that would be used so often. It looks like there's a lot of Elio vinyl records.
Like some girls named Elio or something, or
Yeah. I don't see anything yet. I just see the soundtrack, but like I don't see a vinyl for it yet. Maybe eventually, but yeah, Disney Music Emporium would probably be where it would be, because I have the Michael Giacchino Lightyear vinyl, which that like the art on that's really cool too, because it's like the Mondo artist that did that. But that one's really good. Is there anything else like any like final thoughts or things that we haven't brought up yet that you guys wanted to talk on before we kind of like wrap out for this episode?
I hope people will go see the movie. I was mad. I mean, I wasn't necessarily surprised that the opening weekend box office wasn't great, and I get so frustrated. I mean, I know it's the reality, but that so often the press calls a movie a failure when it doesn't have a gigantic opening weekend.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of Elemental. I know that there's been, we've seen posts and stuff that you guys have probably made too, right, about this. That look at what Elemental did, because same thing. Even though Elio even learned less than Elemental did on its opening weekend. I hope word of mouth is gonna help this film, and I guess ultimately I hope, and it sounds like they will, but that Pixar will continue to make original films in addition to the sequels. Because that's the thing that bumps me out.
So
that is it. That's what I was going to point out too. Is like I just hope the suits don't learn the wrong lesson from this.
Yeah.
Like that we need more original films and not just.
Yeah, because
but then the public,
but then nobody shows up.
Yeah, and then again,
the public doesn't show up.
Inside Out 2 earned $1 billion, right? And it deserved it because I thought it was a brilliant film. I loved it, but then also so did the stupid CGI Lion King. It earned $1 billion, and what a piece of crap.
It was utter junk.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, if the public only goes sees sequels, then the suits are going to be like those.
Only make sequels, no original films.
So, it's hard.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Makes me sad
to expect the Pixar movies to just be on Disney Plus,
Yeah, see, I was kind of hoping that people were breaking out of that, but I don't think they are yet.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, you can't necessarily fault the market. I didn't think the marketing was bad, but then also, if it has Pixar's name on it, I'm in. I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm willing to give this a try.
Also, but, the three of us are already in like a specific algorithm that we're already being fed.
It's true.
Right.
So when I
good point, Mark.
Oh, you didn't see any advertising, but what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? That's like I've just seen nothing but Elio stuff for months, or weeks, really. Yeah.
And
but even like, I was gonna say I tried to get a group to go see it, ended up just taking a person.
And you were saying they hadn't even heard of it, right?
They hadn't even heard of it.
And I was like, my friend that I brought, who works in animation, they hadn't even seen a trailer for it yet. So I was like, what?
Yeah. Is that Disney just not advertising it? Like, did they not have faith either? Like, where was the breakdown?
I was going to say, I'm definitely in a bubble, though, too, because I'm also within driving distance of where the movie was made.
Yeah, exactly, Mark.
I'm also seeing, like, a ton of billboards for it, because obviously you're going to put a bunch of billboards up, like, down the street from the studio that made the movie.
That made the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of skewed for me too, as far as like the whole the front of the theater, that's like 5 minutes down the road from Pixar, like their entire front of the theater is like this huge like Elio like window decal wrap that covers from like the ceiling to the ground, to the far left of the wall to the far right wall. It's like the entire thing is an Elio like vinyl sticker on the front of the building. It's crazy. But I mean, like you said, like we brought that up earlier in the episode too, like with Elemental, like having good word of mouth and like it ended up doing pretty well. Just kind of dope. Elio is the same thing, and like from people I've heard that have seen it, they really enjoyed Elio. So just again, being people listen or watch to this, or I guess they gotten this far, they've gotten super spoiled on the movie, but if you can still enjoy things after being spoiled, go check it out if you haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, go see it for sure.
But,
There's actually a study that says people enjoy things better if they're spoiled.
yeah,
I can send it to you.
Maybe that's also why the sequels and stuff do better, because it's a sense of comfort, of familiarity. So in a way, you're kind of making yourself familiar with the thing that you're going to go see. So yeah, then you're like, then maybe you're more prone to go see it because of that. Who's to say? But yeah, I am looking forward to Hoppers. That's coming
Me too.
next year. Really,
and I'm also looking forward to Toy Story 5. But
speaking of Inside Us Are Two Wolves, original sequel.
Yes, within months from each other. It's gonna be very interesting to see.
Yeah, because Hoppers is March of next year, and then I think Toy Story is like the summer spot.
It's June or July, right? Or the kind of the classic June weekend for a Pixar film.
Yeah, that'll be the first 2 Pixar film year in a while.
Yeah.
I remember the last time that happened. It was a while ago.
It was a while.
It was before. It was like at least.
Was it the Good Dinosaur year? I can't remember what that was. Like, yeah, maybe.
Maybe because that was another Toy Story year, because I think Toy Story 4 was again the summer, and then Good Dinosaur was November.
Yeah.
So luckily this time for Hoppers it comes out before Toy Story, so Toy Story won't eat its box office from that. But I am very excited for Hoppers because of just the high concept idea of transferring consciousness into a robot beaver.
It's definitely original.
Yeah. Apart from that's kind of like what Avatar is, but Disney owns Avatar, so there you go.
And maybe it's Zoe Saldana. Saldana. She signed up.
Oh yeah.
Again.
Is she?
We'll wrap it all back around to Elio.
Yeah.
But yeah, was there? Oh, also Bobby Moynihan is a voice in that movie that we know of too. So looking forward to all the Bobby Moynihan-ness that should be henceforth come from that film. But I think that'll do it for our episode about Elio for Animation Fascination. Ted, where can people find you on the internet?
Probably mainly YouTube with Ted Sowards.
Nice. I think. Oh, no, I don't have that stuff. But and then about you, Stanford. Other than Animation Fascination, where else can people hear your voice online?
I've got a movie podcast and blog at moviespastandpresent.com, and you can also follow me on Instagram. My handle is at moviespap, as in past and present.
Nice. And then for this podcast, you can find all of the episodes that we've put out in the past and or future, depending on when you're listening to this, at animationfascination.net. But yeah, that'll do it for us this week, for Ted, for Stanford, and then for myself. Thank you, everybody, for listening to Animation Fascination, and we'll see you all again next time. Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.